Hello, welcome, Devil Sniper here, and today I'm bringing you episode number 25 of our career mode with West Ham United. The first game is going to be an away game on Legendary in the Barclays Premier League against Manchester City. The upgrade, as you know, has been completed. We are on Legendary, which is absolutely fantastic, and it went quite well in episode 24. Hopefully we can continue that in episode 25 and onwards. And notably, after this episode, there will only be 3 more episodes before the season is concluded, and we move on to season number 3, or as you would better know it, season number 2, but overall season number 3, because if you're new to the series, season number 1 was a simmed season where Sam Allardyce was still in control before I came in. Juan Diablo, the almighty Brazilian, came in and took over the club. And if you're wondering who Juan Diablo is, basically he's a character I used on my old channel who I liked and loved and adored because he was the manager of Bahia on a fantastic career mode, which I really enjoyed. I actually quite enjoyed the Journeyman as we moved on, but obviously with FIFA a few things went a little bit tits up and yeah, sort of destroyed that series. Anyway, that aside, as you can see, we are struggling a little bit. City dominating that possession. Something that we've got to adapt to is having slightly less possession now we've moved up to Legendary, and the teams seem to want to have a few more pop shots earlier. And the one thing I have noticed is on Legendary, a lot of teams take short corners. All the corners seem to be sort of short corners, which is a little bit frustrating. But as you can see, we've been absolutely torn to bits at the moment. Really under great pressure. I say torn to bits is a little bit extreme, just under great pressure. But we do pick up that ball with Valencia. Moving forward, plays a delightful ball into Saka, who I believe would have been clean through, but the tackle was absolutely disgraceful by Yaya Toure, and the referee had no hesitation in delivering that almighty red card after 42 minutes wearing the number 42 shirt. Really? Come on, that's just too coincidental for anybody. That really is too coincidental. In the 42nd minute, number 42, Yaya Toure, is disposed of with the red card. And of course, 10 men always seem to play a lot better than they do with 11. I think the difference was they went on a little bit more of the defensive, and to be honest with you, we didn't go on the offensive enough. So we went in at half-time with a scoreline of 0-0, which I was quite happy with, to be honest. Even though Manchester City are in 6th, they're still a big side, and they've still got a lot of potent players who can cause you a lot of problems at the end of the day. They just haven't had the greatest season. That can happen to absolutely anyone. But Noble picks up the ball, has a bit of a pot shot, didn't really get a decent connection on the shot, which is a great shame. If he could have pinged that in like he did on a different career mode, that would have been fantastic. But Sacco picking up that ball, breezing through the City defence, has the shot, but that's a huge save from the City goalkeeper. I think he had better options on, he just didn't take it. And then Davy K with an absolutely blinding shot. And again, the Man City keeper coming up with a fantastic save. I decided to bring on Yusuf Poulsen and of course Joshua Mullen, who I absolutely adore, and take off Klassen and Sacco. A, to mix it up, B, get some height up top, because Yusuf Poulsen's a strong lad and he's a quick lad, and we've got Mullen. Even though Joshua Mullen is only young, he is such a decent player and I can't wait to watch him grow. But the second half didn't pan out the way I wanted it. We really didn't go too much on the offensive. Mullen knocking the ball into Valencia there. Valencia trying to look to get forward, keeping the ball, knocks it on the outside into Poulsen. Poulsen breaking into the box with a left foot shot. Really didn't get a good clean connection, and it took a slight deflection which took all the pace out of the ball, and it was a simple save for the Argentinian in between the sticks for Man City. But the referee had enough, I'd had enough, and I was quite thankful that it was a 0-0 draw, because at times we really did look quite vulnerable with the amount of possession that City had, and we didn't really do that well when we went forward. In fact, we didn't go forward enough, which was really frustrating. The man of the match though had to be Adrian. He pulled off a couple of massive saves, and those massive saves at this moment in time are the difference between us winning and losing. It is that simple. And as you will see, we've received some news from Scott Lewis that he thinks he's Billy Big Bollocks and that he should be given a contract or let go in simplistic terms, which is, you know, that's a little bit frustrating. The lad's 16 years old. He shouldn't really be knocking on our door, giving us such ultimatums. But at the same time, he looks okay. Yes, I know the potential is quite low and his overall is quite low. It's a case of either lose him or we take him on. And to be honest with you, I'd rather have that bit of squad depth, because he could be one of those little players who turn out to be a complete and utter Eduardo. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. So it's time to have a little look at what's going on in the Barclays Premier League season. Of course, goals galore for Cavani at Chelsea. Rooney doing quite well with goals. And it's just a little bit disappointing that we don't have anyone higher up the list. But that's been something that's caused us a lot of issues all season long. We know it's caused us issues. We haven't scored enough goals. We've created enough chances. We just haven't bagged enough goals. At Bong Lahore there, at the top of the assist table, which did surprise me if I'm totally honest. But we have created enough chances. We just haven't taken our chances, which is a little bit frustrating. But when you look through the actual goal scorers and the assists, can you spot a couple of players who you think to yourself, how the hell are they doing that well with goals and how the hell are they doing that well with assists? If you can, put it in the comment section below. You might have to have a look at it a couple of times, but honestly, there are some really interesting players in that leading goal scorer table that literally blew me back, and I was thinking, whoa, what are you on? Seriously, you cannot have that many goals considering where you play on the park. Obviously, we don't have too many people with red cards. I think we only have the one red card. Yes, is it one? Is it one or two? I think it's only one. That was Chiarte. Anyway, time for the squad report. Something you're going to have to get used to for next season. The basically the end of month episodes or end of month are actually going to be episodes. Yes, they're going to be episodes, standalone episodes, which is going to make the season a little bit longer, but it's going to make it more fun in my personal opinion, because we are going to do each month in either 2 episodes or 1 episode, depending on the amount of games. So there's 3 games in a month, that'll be 1 episode. If there's 6 games or 7 games a month, that could be actually 2 and a bit episodes, but we'll have to wait and see how I actually pan that out. From a growth perspective, no one really amazingly going up, and of course Andy Carroll is constantly insecure. But then again, after 24 games with 3 assists and 3 goals, I think he has a right to be insecure, because he's literally playing for his career. Not that Sacco can speak with 3 assists, 7 goals in 22, but he has got 7 goals, which is the all-important. Valencia as well has got 6 goals in 21. And remember, Valencia and Sacco have had little knocks as well throughout the season, and I'm really impressed with Poulsen. He's come in, he's done quite well considering he's only really played a cameo role. But look at the stats of my boy Davy K. I've got to say, Davy K has really impressed me. He's such a joy to play with. He really is a joy to play with. He as good as he is on Ultimate Team, and I think he's fantastic. My boy Bentley's a little bit, unhappy, which I'm a little bit disappointed with. He has come into the club. He's not got a first team role. He has to understand that, and getting him to understand that seems to be quite difficult, because we didn't sign him on a major contract. We've got him there as squad rotation. He's played a fair few games in my opinion. Realistically, squad rotation or playing at a lower level contract means cup games and the odd league game, which he has been getting, to be honest, though he has astounded me. And to be honest with you, I probably could put him in the first team and have no comeback, because as good as Adrian's been, Bentley has been equally as good. I don't really think he's made a mistake. I know I said in episode 24, was that technically his first error? And to be honest with it, was it really an error? No. So he hasn't made an error yet, and he's still a young lad. So I'm looking forward to seeing him grow, and perhaps he'll have a greater say next season. Now, with the youth scouts, I was getting a little bit bored of the players they were bringing back and the consistent trash that the majority of the players were, which was a little bit frustrating. So I decided to send the boys out to a whole array of different countries just to set up a new scouting network and hopefully find an additional hidden gem. Another Mullen would be fantastic, or idyllically, a young man that we found from Argentina on FIFA 13, a Rocker. Yes, Rocker would be absolutely sensational. I'd love to find another Rocker. Or an Eduardo would be equally as good. But Bastos is more of the Eduardo for me. Look at the way he plays. He could be my secret Eduardo. But I would love to find someone who could ultimately take over the throne of Filippo Bonaparti, be it a youth player or be it from a player from the actual career mode. But we'll have to wait and see. That might not come until FIFA 16. Who knows? You can't be guaranteed to find hidden gems. But Mullen at this moment in time is an absolute godsend. And the one thing that I want to force home yet again is I'm not bothered about growth. I don't really care if Mullen doesn't hit 80, 85, 90, whatever. It doesn't matter. The way he plays right now with his absolutely shoddy stats and his absolutely shoddy rating is just phenomenal. Honestly, it's phenomenal. It's so hard to describe. I'm sure you've all had it on a career mode where you have a player that's actually amazing, but realistically is crap. Anyway, enough of that. As you can see, we're at home playing Liverpool in the Premier League, and Liverpool's one of those teams that I never seem to do ultimately that well against. And as you can see, it continues. I mean, that was a great opportunity. Yes, it was offside, but I'd expect him to put the ball in the back of the onion bag. I really would from that range. I really wanted that in the back of the net. It wasn't meant to be. Mullen in the centre of the park, though, picking up that ball, just dominating, slowing the pace of the game down as Downing feeds the ball into Sacco. Sacco on that left-hand side of the box, cuts back onto his right foot, plays a delightful ball inside to Downing. Downing manages to nick it off Skirtle, I think, who made an absolute error there, but he couldn't flick it past Mignolet. But Mullen picking up that ball again, plays a delightful ball into Downing, and Downing couldn't get the finish, and Mullen, unfortunately, with the follow-up shot was blocked. But we're dominating the game, which is something we haven't done for a little while. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Stoke game, we started off hard and fast, we got those 2 goals, but then we were under the cosh. We were under the cosh against Wigan, but we nicked the game. We were under the cosh against Man City, and we got a draw. But it's nice to see us dominating the game as Chiarte in the box, and again, offside. No Russian linesmen today. No Russian linesmen today, which is a little bit frustrating. But again, I would have expected him to put that chance in the back of the net, and then I would have been happy. At least we're hitting the back of the net, regardless of offsides. But it just wasn't meant to be. It's Downing moving forward, delightfully moving forward, plays an absolutely spectacular ball into Sacco. Unfortunately, Sacco does put it wide again. And of course, the bribed linesman for Liverpool puts his flag up. So I bought on Carroll. No, I took off Carroll, Sacco and Mullen, just because they were looking a little bit tired. Carroll had done absolutely jack all game. Ball to the back stick, and of course Liverpool score through Sturridge. That one lacks of concentration, and can you pick out the player who was essentially out of position? If you can, put it in the comment section below, because he was slightly out of position and it cost us the goal, which is really, really frustrating. And it's just one of those things. But Noble picking up that ball, looking to have the shot. Ball comes back to Chiarte, who has a little dink, but unfortunately didn't get enough on it to chip Mignolet. I mean, it would have been an audacious goal if that had gone in, but it wasn't meant to be. And Liverpool come away with the 3 points, which is really disappointing. So we slumped to our first defeat on Legendary from the first 4 games, which I'm quite happy with. I will take that. Man of the match for me has to be Chiarte. He really did put in a top-end performance for me. And of course, Scott Lewis has accepted the contract. So has Kovac. I'm going to call him Kovic. He's accepted his contract, and I'm quite happy. Anyway, until episode 26, I will catch you later.
I used to dream about cars and things, about being a star and things. I thought that I would